entire social sector, so that it makes information available and also gives you a perspective of how development workers started their own journeys, how young people are contributing into this sector, and how they are also deciding on various aspects of starting their careers into it, which will also help you to understand the sector better and also demystify a lot of myths related to it, which are some of which are like the sector doesn't pay well, it has a lot of challenges, people usually do it when they grow old, and it's something which we should do it later in our life and not to start something with. But there are thousands of people who are changing this narrative on daily basis, and two of them are with me today, Annushree Tiwari and Subhalakshmi Bora, and both of them are young development professionals. So do we call ourselves. So what is development professionalism, and what development management is, and what development itself is in context of India? These are some of the things which we will be learning in this webinar through Anushree's and Subhalakshmi's career trajectory and their decisions, how they took certain decisions to come into this sector, and what they're particularly doing right now. So I'll be opening this session today with requesting Subhalakshmi to introduce herself, followed by Anushree's introduction. I would request you to cover from where you have, like, what's your background, what you are doing currently, and what made you do what you are doing right now.
Sure, Sanjana, thank you for the introduction. And thanks everyone for joining in. And thanks also to Village Square and ISDM for giving this opportunity to be a part of this panel. In fact, to be able to speak about something I'm really very passionate about, alongside other passionate minds. So I'll shortly introduce myself. My name is Subhalakshmi Bora, and I come from a small town in Assam on the border of Arunachal Pradesh. And I've been living in Delhi for the last 8 years. I came here for my graduation. I did my honors in English literature. And after which I was sure that I'm not going to pursue academics. So the question then came to what next? So I was exploring various avenues of, earning a livelihood for myself. I thought of different things. I thought of an MA, MBA, everything, but, nothing really struck me. And then I thought that, okay, my graduation has given me enough, theoretical skills, but I just wanted to, put them into practice. So after talking to a couple of my friends, I joined Delhi government in Delhi Child Rights Commission, and putting my theoretical skills into work. I started writing reports for them, doing research for them, and that is, in fact, my first foray into the sector, I would say, without me even realizing it, that this is what development is. And there are a lot of issues about regarding children, regarding women, and regarding environment. Okay, and then you can really do something about it. I got really excited to work in that sector, but again, my mind was completely flooded with questions. Who are the people working in this sector? Is it just what we call NGO growing up? That the NGO is not something that people prefer as a sector, used to prefer as a sector when I was growing up. So I had those questions as well. But then I chanced upon Indian School of Development Management, wherein I actually first had an exposure visit, and I talked to a couple of people who had graduated from Indian School of Development Management. And then I realized, okay, people are actually managing non-profits, they're managing CSRs, they're a part of public policy organizations, and there are really a host of ways in which you can contribute to the social sector and for an impact. So I decided to pursue that course, and in the 1 year that I spent at ISDM, I could connect all the dots of my life, all the issues that I saw growing up in Delhi when I was studying, during my internship. I could connect all those dots, and I knew that I really wanted to make a career in this sector. And by that time, I was also quite convinced that having a career in this sector is not a compromise at any cost. And it's also a very serious career choice, like any other. It can pay you well. You can have a life after it. You may want to stay in rural India. You may want to stay in urban India. So there were these various facets of development sector, professional life that I found out. And so after ISDM, I actually joined an organization and called 1M1B Foundation, and we were working very closely with CBSE and a couple of MNCs like Google, Adobe, etc. And I was helping in their educational initiatives in Delhi. And after which I spent 2 years there, and it was really my first work ex as a professional in this sector. And then I joined. Then actually COVID happened at that point, and I had to move back home because of a few issues. And then because I was taking back a lot of experience, and I had also studied these issues, I could now I really wanted to help the communities back home with whatever skill sets I had gained. So I actually started an organization called Riverside Roots alongside a friend who was staying there, who was working with communities, and she was helping them with handloom. So I thought that why not we start with handicraft, because Northeast is quite rich in handicrafts and they're already making it, so we can help them with better marketing, something that I am good at. And we can help with social media marketing, etc. So we since then, actually since 2000, early 2001, I've been doing that, because they were already doing it. So I would not say I have empowered them. I just helped them with proper market linkage. And this is something I've thoroughly enjoyed doing. And I know there's a lot of scope for this to grow further. The better designs you give them, the better output they will give, and the better livelihood they will earn, and so will you. So that's what I've been doing. And besides, since last year, I've also been working in the marketing domain of an organization called Climajo, wherein I'm doing the same thing, just spreading awareness about environment and sustainable choices, eco-friendly choices in our day-to-day life. And that's really what I'm very passionate about, and uncovering how environment has an impact on every aspect of our life. And I'm doing that, and I'm happy to do that. So I will pass it on to Annushree. So that's all about me, actually.
Thanks, Shubha. And I'll also just request everyone to keep their questions upright and keep messaging us so that we can take your questions at the end of the session, or in between also if we'll get a chance. But yes, Annushree.
Yeah, Shubhalakshmi, that was a great introduction. I'm kind of intimidated now because I don't think I've been doing so much work. It's wonderful. Hi, everyone. I am Annushree Tiwari, and I'm currently based in Madhya Pradesh. This is where I grew up. And I have worked in different parts of the country. First of all, I would start by saying thank you to Sanjana, Village Square, and ISDM for conducting such events, because it is very important for people to understand what the sector looks like, because I never had that exposure. I never knew what development sector is, or what goes into it, what an NGO, or is it just an NGO, or is there many more elements and aspects to it. So it was a very difficult choice for me to convince my parents and to convince the people around me, my friends. So I'll give a little bit brief about myself. I studied company secretary's course. So I'm an associate company secretary by education, which means I studied finance, accounting, law, and all sort of things. And I was supposed to become some chartered person who would be sitting in a corporate office with ACs and would be wearing these nice lit skirts and shirts and working with all these corporate clients. But I was, during my articleship in the college days, I started working with an organization which was working for waste management. It was by a friend, and it kind of, I got really interested in the idea. And I was in Indore that time, and Indore was growing fastly in the cleanliness era, and it was doing a lot of work around sustainability. So I got really interested in that, and I started visiting some ground workers, rag pickers, and I realized that there is something like this that also exists. You don't have to sit in an office and just have a boring routine of doing the same things every day. So I got interested, and that's when I got to know about Rural Development Fellowship by SBI Foundation. And I applied and I got a chance to do it. So I went to Gujarat in a tribal belt, completely tribal belt in South Gujarat. And I was unaware of the language of the community of people. I did not know what a tribal community was. And I'm very ashamed to say this, but I was a graduate and I was not aware of what it was like to live in a village. And I come from a small place myself, but seeing the rural aspect and understanding the rural people is a very different perspective from just learning about it or just seeing it in the videos. So I went there, I stayed with the community, and I started working on education because that drew my interest there. And the education rate and pass out rate after 10th standard was extremely poor. And young kids were more inclined towards doing businesses and going for employment opportunities as early as possible. So yeah, I started working with Gram Panchayats, and I was working with 13 Gram Panchayats that time. Within a span of 1 year, I was able to set up a program where I was connecting local self-governance to education and trying to set it up out of the school classrooms and Panchayat Bhavans. And I think everything that I know about the sector is I learned it from there. Like I started engaging with the community. I learned like what is the difference of language, what all barriers do they face, about the caste issues, about like everything else. And the program was pretty appreciated by the organization that I was working with during that time. And I got some confidence. I realized that, maybe I can do something around this. And I was getting a peanut stipend that time. So obviously my parents were not convinced. Nobody in my family was convinced about this. But I was trying. And eventually, I was always hearing that the government is not doing this, government is not coming up with schemes, government is not doing that. So I was feeling bad that, is there anything that government does, or like, what is the lack here? What is the gap that is happening? And I started looking for opportunities to start working with government so that I can understand their perspective. And till now, I'm still experimenting in the sector. I haven't like called myself a development professional, or I have not decided that I want to stick to the sector. But I think I have been fortunate, and I landed up with this aspirational district fellowship, which was run by Transform Rural India Foundation, Tara Trust, and Ministry of Home Affairs. So I was working as a consultant with them, and I went to Bihar. So I'm like moving like to very different places of the country. And so I went to Bihar and I started working with the collector there. And in the aspirational district program, we were looking after like various thematic areas. And it was a great exposure. I learned the government's perspective. I understood, like, from coming from the ground, setting up my own thing. I came to learn this now, and it opened my eyes into a lot of like different ways. And while I was working there, I was also realizing that how important it is to connect rural youth to education and to economic opportunities, because I think that's a huge gap. We are working around, even if you're working in healthcare, education, anything, like you have to include youth into it, because they will bring the energy, they will bring the work that is required. So after working there for almost 2.5, 3 years, I got a chance to work with TRIF on a full time as a manager for youth initiative programs. And this is one of the initiatives that I'm currently working in, where we are trying to create, we are basically globally working with Aspen Institute, and the program is currently active in around 111 communities across the world. And we are working on creating an ecosystem to connect youth to the right sort of opportunities, and in whichever way possible, be it like just through trainings or connecting them to jobs and things like that. So currently I'm back to my hometown in MP after like traveling to all these places, and I'm working in a tribal community again in Barwani, and we are trying to create an ecosystem where we provide them, connect you to economic opportunities in terms of entitlement support, enterprise, employment, and so on. So yeah, that has been my journey.
And that is a great experience of hearing both of you, and I think that it covers a lot of aspect of development sector, listening to like the variety of things you spoke. So Annushree is in field. She's based out of a very remote place called Badwani, which is one of the hottest place also in India. Temperature goes up to like 50 degrees. And at the same time, Subhalakshmi is living in Gurgaon, and her roots are in Assam, and she's contributing in both of the geographies equally, and equally like being passionate about things as well. And also they have touched upon various aspects of what kind of things NGOs may do. They might be like direct implementation, there might be consulting, as you have heard from both of them. There might be something which they do with government. So it doesn't involve one set of one same thing that this is what NGOs do, but there is a lot of things which is happening in this space, which we call development sector, which includes enterprises also. Like Subbalakshmi said that she's founder of River Roots, so it's Riverside Roots. So it's a social enterprise. So it is another set of the organizations which development sector caters to. So I think that hearing your introduction, it opens a lot more questions and curiosity that how it looks like in real. But I have this question that when you Anushree said that you were getting peanut amount of stipend and your parents were not happy about it, so how you made them feel happy? So what was your starting point and how you convinced others that this is something you want to do and this is something which will be which will pay you well after some time? How you were assured, how you were hopeful about it?
So this question is from me, right?
Yeah, this is for you.
Okay. When I started off, it was a very small stipend, and I could have made that money in an internship during my or an articleship during my studies. So and also I was like, because NGO sector is for some reason looked at a place where you would go work with the villagers, and like if I should use the term they are calling it कि क्या ही तुम क्या गांव में घूमती रहती हो घर घर में जाके, क्या ही कुछ तो कोई somebody saying कि ऑफिस में बैठो क्या झोला छाप नौकरी है, and like I was hearing all of that even when at a very young age of being like 19 something, I was getting a chance to travel to the most remotest regions of the country, and I was getting a chance to meet people I don't think I would have ever met if I would be sitting in Mumbai or Delhi or any such like fancy office. So I was very excited, but people were not, and obviously the salary was not convincing. But eventually, as I started working as a consultant with the government, the salary, like I got a very good hike there in the salary. Now I'm making enough money that I can tell my family कि आप लोग काम छोड़ दो मैं संभाल लूंगी. But so salary wise, so they're happy now because I look after project. I'm making enough money, but that was never the motivation to be here. First of all, if I had that motivation, I would never be having the courage to take up this role. So, but I know if you start working, like they say in Three Idiots, there's some dialogue, no? You go with beyond, आप जिसको पसंद करते हो उसके पीछे जाओ तो पैसा आ जाता है, something like that. So I think that is something that worked for me. So I started doing it. I still have to sometimes convince them because my mother sometimes keeps on saying, why don't you complete MBA, go do MBA, and you get some job here and then you can do this. I'm like, I don't want to do it. So I'm still convincing them, but yeah, you will get money if you are working, if you're willing to work. And also, like I believe with the young people, one of the problems that I think I'm facing is that they instantly want to jump to the roles, like where they're sitting in Bangalore, where they're sitting in these fancy offices, and they do not want to get an exposure on the ground. And within a span of 5 to 6 months, they just want to move ahead. They keep on saying कि कितने दिन गांव में रहना पड़ेगा, और आप I still don't see it as a job where I'm still like in the gaon because I'm constantly traveling and I get to work at different roles as well. Lekin I don't think that it is a problem for me to stick in this region. So you have to look at all the aspects of it. You have to see ki it is just not it's basically a lifestyle choice, I would say, Sanjana. And that one has to make if they want to come to the sector. And I feel very happy, even if you call it a hot place, you can always install an AC, and and you get to see so much greenery around, which I love. So so
and even more places like so I also remember because I partly worked in Badwani, so there were some roads which used to look like Switzerland. So when after rains, so it's a beautiful place. So much to say, but I have to share this information with everyone who is joining us today, because that's what make them understand that the geographies are tough. They are not easy. Even living in Delhi is also not easy. It's so much, there's so much population, there is pollution, there is a lot of stuff which goes on in the city areas also. So it's not if we look at rural areas as a tough geography, that is another myth. So maybe that is more peaceful, or that is more like comfortable for many of us, but we don't look at it at in that manner. So that
And
is what I
also,
wanted to
adding on to
highlight.
what you're saying, I believe that you would never understand it unless you spend some time
Yeah,
here. Like you would never know it, how warm people are, and they just basically adopt you. And even like currently, I'm in such a role where I don't go and meet the community very frequently, but still, I get to travel to these places and meet them and attend their different functions and
yeah,
these interesting festivals like Bhagoria. So that I have only understood because I've lived here, because I've been part of this community. So that
yeah.
only you will understand when you start living in these places. Yeah.
True. And turning the question to Subhalakshmi, I know that she mentally lives in Northeast and physically she is in Gurgaon and she keeps traveling to multiple places. What kind of challenges you faced when you were like starting off with Riverside Roots, or even starting with working in NGOs, and what made you like being persistent about this with your families or friend? Have you faced anything like that? And if not, that can also be a possibility. But if you did, what were those and how you tackle them?
Okay, so first of all, actually, when I came to Delhi, there were just these two girls from my whole batch who came outside of our hometown, and then, in fact, outside Assam to study. So, whatever we were doing, our parents were quite excited about it, but they did not have so much of idea ki matlab ye padhne se kya hota hai, because we were mostly exposed to, if someone's very intelligent, they choose to be a doctor. Someone is less intelligent than the doctor, then engineer, and baki commerce, arts to kuch hai nahi. So I came from that mindset, but when I made it to Delhi University, actually it was a first for my family, and for my family and my extended family as well. So they were quite excited, and I had the privilege of making choices, and they have been supportive throughout. And besides, actually, um, I did ISDM like right after 3 years of graduation, and I was also fairly young then. And since then, I have not had to take money from like mere ghar se. So they know that okay, she's up to something good. And now when I show them pictures that I'm meeting these people, these are the things that are happening. This was a conference that I'm part of, and communicating the things that they will understand. I think it really helps in garnering their support. And yeah, of course, like mentally, I am in Northeast and physically here, and I think that helps because without having the exposure of Delhi and having stayed here, I would not have been able to help the people there in any way, matlab, because I've grown up seeing it. My friends are still there, but we have not been able to help. But it was with this expertise and skill set when I went back there, I knew that okay, I can make a difference. And of course, the skills lies there, and but the market lies here in Delhi and in all the other cities and even outside the country, which allows me to stay here and which gives me a good exposure. So that has been fa- favorable as well for me. Of course, like there's always two sides of the story, right? So if I had stayed there in Assam more often than in Delhi, I would have convinced more community members to join this and given them better designs. Now because there's a lack of connect, I would say, which is very important, as Annushree was saying, that it's very important that you meet communities. So wo is something that I am lacking, is an area of improvement for me, although we have a team back in Assam, but something that I would like to do more often in the future.
That is also important, and I also appreciate that. I think every profession needs family support. If they will not support uh, our decisions or children's decision of whatever they want to take up, it will always create a mess. Even if, for example, if a family has a lot of doctors and they want another kid become a doctor, that itself is a pressure. So I think that the question is not also that do we need family support or not. It is a kind of exploration one can do. It is an area to explore whether you want to become a health expert, education expert, climate change enthusiast, or whatever like theme you really love being engaged in. There is a possibility in social sector also. So that you can get a chance to experiment those. So like after listening to Shubha Lakshmi, she's very passionate about climate change. She's very passionate about livelihood generation. So she's exploring those kind of possibilities to make things better in whatever sense she look at a good society. And same goes with Annushree. She's also not freezed her career yet that this is what I have done and this is the benchmark. She's still exploring. So it's an area to explore. And you can, everyone who is starting fresh can look at it from that perspective. So it's not like once you enter into the sector, you have to end into the sector. There's always an exit point also. You can decide when you want to exit. And Subhalakshmi and Annushree can correct me if I'm saying anything wrong. But there is always a chance that you can say that I'm done doing this work. Now I want to explore something else, because there are immense amount of opportunities available these days. So do you also feel that there's this kind of confusion every fresher has, that should we enter development sector just after finishing our course, or we have to take some time, learn something else, make money, and then go into something else? What's your opinion on it? I think you both started really fresh into this sector just after completing your courses. What was your thought at that particular time when you had to decide that we are entering into a different sector altogether, which colleges don't even give placements for? Anyone you can like
Yeah, I would like to start. So like about the placements part, I think the scenario is changing very fastly these days. Like a lot of organizations are coming up with these roles of sustainability and project management and things like that, or rural marketing, because Subhalakshmi has some experience in that region. So a lot of companies are coming up with these roles in the colleges, and a lot of new education institutes or programs are being run for the development sector, be it like policy courses or development studies or things like that. But I believe the choice, I believe it is, you need to have some driving force to start here. I have seen so many people who have started just because, they saw somebody, and I have my own friends who have started, they saw somebody, they came, but they couldn't stick to it. You need to have some driving force to do it, and my driving force ignited when I was working like with some people on the ground, and I realized, oh, something like this also exists. And I went on an experiment for a year, but it has been 7 years of me working now. And I have not taken a single break in the past 7 years. So I believe that I'm only going because I'm connecting those dots. Wherever I'm working, I'm connecting it to something where, this is what I'm going to jump to, or this is the kind of thing that I want to like work around solving the issue. So I believe that helps. And also like this, also like I always think that these fellowships are a great platform for people to experiment. They can come, they can try for a year, and they can see if they want to go for like further studies, or if they want to come back and do the thing that they're doing. Because unless you have a force to run into the sector, you would not stick to it. So yeah, that's what I believe. Subhalakshmi can add.
No, I completely agree with what you have said. And I mean, as someone, I think I'm on the same platform as you, wherein we have started our careers from the sector and we are still stuck to it. So yeah, I think, and yeah, like you said, the scenario is fast changing. There are a lot of fellowship opportunities available. People are placing you in non-profit, for purpose, social enterprises kind of organizations. And now we have like just impact organizations as well. Like these are corporates, but they have like a very distinct vision and mission. So there are these different kinds of organizations coming up. And now, for someone who is insecure about joining a smaller organization, you must also know that, for example, Annushree works with Tata. There are a lot of organizations that are set up with bigger enterprises as well, who have their affiliations. And also you can work with government. And also, for example, the big fours, they all have their, they have their education thing, they have their healthcare, they have their healthcare team, they have their public works team. So, there are just this host of opportunities that you will uncover if you stick to the sector. And it's not a very tough journey. But if you compare it to corporate, maybe it will seem like, okay, corporate mein joining me, I'm getting so much salary. In a non-profit, I'm not. So if you come with that mindset, then maybe it will be difficult. And I'm not judging you for that. You might have a different kind of priority, but definitely if you stick like a couple of years in this sector, you will be at a very good position. Definitely. I mean, the sector is currently offering you that.
There's a short question. You can take 2 minutes to answer that. Anything on like work-life balance in development sector and also work culture? What kind of work culture you see and how different it is from corporate, and how you like, do you find it interesting to be in this kind of a space, or you feel that things need to like improve here also, because every sector has its own challenges. So from that perspective, any like, I would like you to comment that what work-life balance actually is in development sector.
I can take that question actually, and I think Annushree, I would also like to hear Annushree also. But when it comes to work-life balance, that is something I value a lot personally, because it also gives me the opportunity to think, to retrospect whatever I'm doing, have time off for my family, my friends, and also travel, which is my hobby and passion. And that is something I have always prioritized. And if that is something that you prioritize as well, then you will keep it in mind while making career choices. And in all the career choices that I've made, all the courses I have taken, I have made it sure that, okay, this is a non-compromising aspect for me. I'm not going to compromise on this. So keeping that in mind, so far I've been lucky to be able to manage work-life balance. And I can say this for many, that a lot of my friends who are in the sector have a good work-life balance, while some don't. And this is true for any other sector, and not why just development sector. I mean, people who work in corporates and get paid like a lot of money also don't have work-life balance. So this is a very subjective term, and I think this sector provides you this array of options to choose from. So you can take your pick, I think.
Yeah, I agree to what Shubhalakshmi has been saying, and I believe work-life balance depends on what you consider your life to be. If I have to talk about it, I love traveling. I love to be in nature. When I was in Muzaffarpur in Bihar for 3 years, it's a concrete jungle. I was in the office all the time sitting with the collector, and I basically become half Sarkari while I was working there. Although I loved my work, but I was still missing that, part of not being able to travel so much and not being able to be in the nature or to meet people if I want to. So when I got a chance to come here, that solved for me. So I started liking it. And also, I believe when you have so much to experiment with and so much independence to try on new things every day, that works very well for me. I believe that is a very good work-life balance for me. And I get to give time to my family and to my friends, and I can engage with people in interesting conversations, because I see so much around in the country and around in across the people who are working. So for me, work-life balance has been pretty fine here. Although initially, when you start, you might have to do some rigorous work, which some people might see as a burnout. But I think you have to do it in most of the sectors. Like even if you're in a corporate, you have to do it in some way or other. So if you consider your life to be something where you want excitements every day, I think development sector is a great choice.
Yeah, and with that, there is also thing that we are this sector also if you are passionate enough to do something which interests you the most, I think this sector also gives you a lot of opportunity to explore it in your own way. It's still flexible as compared to other sectors. So this is what I feel. And work-life balance is completely a state of mind after listening to both our speakers today. But there are some questions. So there's an increased interest of young people in today's scenario, that they are very keen to work on some specific themes like climate change, inclusion, gender and inclusion, livelihoods. So and there's a question related to it also, that how they can I'm just going to the question. In what ways a professional form the development sector can contribute, environmental sector can contribute to the development sector? What are the possible opportunities if one has to make this switch? So Lakshmi, do you want to take this question?
Yeah, I'll happily take that question, Sagar. So thanks for the question. Basically, the thing is, when it comes to human and human lives, everything is interconnected, right? So if you have skill set which you're very confident, like you said, you're an environmental sector professional, right? um, before I actually got excited about environmental sector, I neither had the skill set nor the not a graduation degree in environment. But after ISDM, I joined somehow got interested in the sector, and now I'm making an impact here. So um, specifically, what are the different kinds of opportunities for you to join, especially because you come with a more sharper skill set than even me, because I joined as a generalist. You have a very sharp skill set. You know your interest area. There are just so many opportunities available for you. For example, there's this non-profit, if I may name it, called Recycle. Then there are a lot of other non-profits who have a lot of work going on in different parts of the country. And a lot of my classmates actually also work in an organization called Nature Science Conservative, then they conservation, then they also work in Waste Warriors. So if you know like what exactly you want to work in, do you want to work in the domain of climate change in public policy, you can join that. If you want to work in waste management, you can join that as well. If you want to work with new climate tech is the new cool, after ed tech and everything, now it's climate tech. If you want to join a new climate tech, there are a lot of climate techs that are into ESG, that are helping companies become sustainable. So there are just this host of opportunities available for you if you want to join this sector, and especially if you have the right skill set and the work ex from before, you are in a very good position to join this sector.
If you have further question regarding that, you can definitely ask Sagar. This is the question from Sagar. But there are some other questions also which are related to challenges. And I think Annushree might want to take it. There is a question regarding what kind of challenges women face in development sector. And similarly, what are the challenges on ground? Because it requires a lot of like commitment to involve with community. It takes a lot of us like going out and be present for others, so-called others, there like for other people in communities. So how do you feel that, and any experience or any anecdote you have related to that, how you experienced it, that might be able to like people also will able to relate to that.
Yeah, I think these are some very interesting questions. And I believe, like, I also had a lot of questions like these before I joined the sector, or even if I like started into it. So, um, being a woman, I think you will face when you will be in the interior parts of the country, and you will face challenges. I think, but you will face challenges in other, like you can face challenges in any job, by the way. But here you might face challenges of hygiene, of not getting proper toilets to start with, and you will have to be on the ground, and sometimes it gets late or it's too early in the morning, and that might be a challenge for you if you are doing your own, like, because I set up my own project. So I was working in the community, and I was like going gaon to gaon and like meeting people gaon to gaon. So I had done that for 1 year, and when I was doing it, it was a big challenge. And when I was working in Bihar with the government, there also I faced a couple of challenges regarding gender biasness, or even I had the people with me, my colleagues, my co-workers, they used to face a lot of challenges of like different region or something. But you are also making a difference at the same time. You're also like the challenge that you're facing, you might be helping somebody solve that. So we didn't have a toilet in our office in Muzaffarpur, in the district collectorate office, a separate toilet for women. But there was a toilet that was there, and we were able to start it. We were able to like get it revamped through some CSR funding, and we started it for like especially for women around, and we were getting it cleaned and everything. It's a very small thing to hear, but it made a huge difference in my life, because I had that challenge, and I solved it for a lot of other women in the office, and it will exist even if I'm not there. It is still there. So that also helps in overcoming them. Also, like, you have to keep a very, I believe, to stick in the sector, you have to keep a very Yeah, sorry, I think there was some problem with the internet. I'm losing electricity here again and again, and you can see that. But
Challenges in ground.
yeah, this doesn't happen normally, but it is happening today. Like the maybe universe wants people to know that this might happen with you. So these are some of the things I think, yeah, somebody else can take this up, and uh, you will have to keep a thick skin. That is for sure. You will have to keep a thick skin, and you will have to
I think we have again uh, not able to hear her. Anushri, are you
I'm
there?
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, am I audible now? I'm
Yes,
sorry
yes,
for all
yes.
this technical glitch happening. But yeah, I was saying that you have to keep a little bit thick skin to stick in the sector, and you have to be constantly optimistic. Like keep yourself motivated with the things that you're seeing changing, and you have to constantly see that you're able to make some difference. If you see those things, then and I think your friends really help you. So go have some good friends in the community or around you. Like be good friends with your coworkers. That really helped me during my journey. So uh, yeah,
Yeah.
I think
I
that
I I remember I remember this filmy dialogue. I forgot the film's name, that which says that दुनिया में दो तरीके के लोग होते हैं. I think it was Bunty and Bubbly, old one, which says that दो तरीके के लोग होते हैं. एक वो जो problems देख के सिर्फ like they can crib about this is not happening, that is not happening. Another is that they are picking up the issue and really taking charge of changing it. And if you are in the second category, this is space is all about you. So you can definitely get a lot of chance to change things which you really think matters to you, and you are thinking that they are problematic around you. So that's a great insight into the rural life or the ground realities which we lives in.
and I
Yeah,
think Sanjana, I would also like to make a small point here. So sometimes we tend to think that we are also like, so somebody also asked about mental health balance, and
yes.
I would like to add on here that sometimes when we are in that process of being thick-skinned and being constantly optimistic, we give up on realizing that we need to also take care of our mental health. So if you're feeling that, and if you are here, and if you are not liking it, and if you're not able to take that burnout, maybe take a break or talk about it to people, because that's what we don't do. I have gone through that challenge. I have worked during COVID for 2 years rigorously. I was posted in, like, I was working with the hospital. I was setting up quarantine centers, migration management. I've done a lot of work around that, and it was very challenging. It took a toll on my mental health badly, but I took a break. I talked about it to people, and I got some really good help out of it. So that also is something that I'll put out there. Then take care of your mental health as well when you're doing all of this.
That's really important. So, Lakshmi, you want to say something regarding that?
No, I completely agree. It's a priority. I think mental health is a priority. It should be as well for everyone. Alongside your physical health, mental health often tends to be ignored, but something that should be prioritized irrespective of the sector you're working in, irrespective of the course you are doing, and of the career choices that you make. I think mental health is something very, very important.
Yeah, I think when it comes to empathizing, like that's the word we use a lot in the sector, and we empathize with others, we empathize with people we work with, but at the same time, don't forget that you have to empathize with yourself and look inwards and see that what's happening with you, with your body. Your body only gives a lot of symptoms with respect to your own mental health, and that those are the signals which I think you should start listening to. I'm also like, we are also in the journey, and we are not like become saints yet, so we are also hearing our own body signals and understanding that whether we are exhausted or not. And definitely breaks are something which need to be like taken care of. You should take care of your health, you should take care of your family, and you also have to need to like travel whenever you need to. And these are the things which are important. And we are not at all promoting that you should not do it. Everything in the development sector is not work hard or work rigorously. So this is also another myth which we are breaking today. We do take breaks, we do travel, we do enjoy, we do spread happiness. These are the things which we do in the sector. So we are welcoming all of you to bring more, like bring more energy to the sector and bring more motivation to the sector, so that more people get inspired and become advocates of new form of social sector, which we will be like leading in coming years. We all will be the leaders for tomorrow. So that is what this all conversation and development unplugged is all about. I think there are some other questions also which are coming up. Sangeeta ji is asking that apart from field level experience, how can one upgrade their skill in the sector? Are there any courses or any app that can help?
I can take this up, and I think a lot of people have asked about the skills. I have been reading the chat, and so some are asking how good you need to be in Excel, Microsoft Excel. I think they're talking about, and all of the things. So I think so. I would say first of all, you need to definitely have a lot of skill set. You need to be a good communicator, I believe, because it's all about connecting to people, even if it you're so right now. I used to communicate with the community members, but now like we do a lot of meetings with the donors, with the other organizations, with leads of different programs. There also we need to communicate, we need to know, and for that you need to have a very clear mindset. So be a good communicator. And there are a lot of apps and a lot of short-term courses that you can do. A lot of good schools like London School of Economics, Harvard, Oxford, Google, you name it, it'll be there. Like even like a lot of IIMs, a lot of IITs, they are coming up with a lot of short-term courses that you can try. Read about those courses, and you can read a lot of books. They're interesting books. I think Village Square also came up with a story recently where they have posted about some 6 books that you should read uh, about the sector, that will give you an understanding of the sector. And initially, because I don't come from the sector, I don't have friends in the sector, like nobody who I knew from my past 19 years of life ever knew that something like this can exist. They were calling me social worker every day. They're like, oh, tu to social worker ban gayi hai. So I used to read a lot, and I think that reading really helped me. I have read some really great books, and I've read P. Sainath, and I have read like other great writers, and that has helped me understand the sector, and understand that what is development all about, and you need to have a lens to see it. So that is important. And skill set, I believe you need to constantly update yourself with newer things coming up. Like Subbalakshmi was telling about ESG, so that those kind of like climate tech things are coming up. If you're working with any kind of, so there are a lot of thematic areas that you can work on. So if you're working with any kind of thematic area, you need to upgrade yourself with the newer technologies that are coming in, newer courses that are coming in. So that you will have to regularly do. So if you want to become a professional, like you need to like constantly upgrade your skills as well.
Yeah, and this is also again similar to other sectors. We like frankly speaking, if you have to like when we say that we have to go up to the ladder, so when you have to reach that ladder's top, you have to do certain things in particular rigor. Be it any sector, even in government sector, you have to perform well to become chief secretary. Everyone doesn't become a chief secretary. So if you have those kind of aspiration, you have to work hard, and you have to keep exploring avenues to like upskill yourself. But if your aspirations are not pretty, that like you're not aspiring to become someone like that, and you are okay with basics, that is also okay. That is also like ordinary is also appreciated. Ordinary is not something which we should feel ashamed of. So getting up to the ladder, because we know that everyone will not be able to go up to the ladder. So whatever ladder you have created for yourself, you work hard towards that. So that is something which should be like in everyone's mind, which should give them perspective of how much they want to do and how much they want to like go forward and push themselves to learn. Because sometimes this learning and upskilling becomes toxic itself, that how much I learn, everyday things are changing, especially with people who are in law and who are like in these kind of areas. Every single day laws like get changed, they get updated, and you have to be updated by yourselves. So figure out what you really want to like reach, and what all you want to achieve. That might help you to understand what all you have to do. Because again, it can become toxic once you don't have a better clarity of where you want to lead, and you might be exhausting yourself too much. Any comments on that, Subha Lakshmi? And then we will be having a final close up for this webinar.
Yeah, so thank you for that question, and also for answering it, Annushree. Actually, I completely agree that, like any other job, you have to constantly keep upgrading your skill set, your knowledge base, etc., to excel. So this is a non-negotiable. This is something that you have to do in all the sectors. When it comes to specific courses or skill sets that one might need while working in this sector, there are actually a lot of them. First is like, a lot of hard skills, a lot of soft skills, and I'm someone who has undergone formal training for this, and 1 year of formal training, and through a professional institution, and I got a degree for it, and Annushree also got it, but through some other means, and which was a fellowship. So these are all different ways in which you can get the required skill sets or exposure in this sector. So there are a lot of fellowships which you can check out. A lot of colleges, like even Indian School of Development Management, where I graduated from, RDM Development Management course is also very, very good. And then there are courses by TIS, Tata Institute of Social Services. Then there is Azim Premji University. A lot of universities actually are now, and then there is IRMA also in Gujarat. So there's just so many courses that you can choose from if you want to do like a full-fledged course, or even if you want to do like short courses, you will find them all on Coursera. You can get your certificate after paying some 2,000 rupees. You'll get a certificate by Stanford and all. And these are really very good courses that, you can also track your progress. Then, of course, it goes without saying that you have to know some skills like Excel, presentation, report writing skills, social media management, depending on the sector you're interested in. If you're someone who is interested in research, then you might want to take a short course on research. If you are interested in marketing, then you have to do your course in social media marketing. So actually, when I was studying in Indian School of Development Management, like my 1 year course gave me exposure to like a multifaceted, curriculum. And therein we learned something like, how do you community mapping, how do you, empathy maps. We learned how to draw empathy maps with communities. And then we also learned how to do brand communication. We also learned how to work properly in teams, especially in a sector where people are so diverse. They come with so itne sare viewpoints, so many thoughts. So how do you, bring everyone together to think like you in this sector and then come up with a solution? We were also taught report writing. These are just some of the courses that I had exposure to. And obviously after ISDM also, it's not like I left it. I've constantly strive to upskill myself, and that is what anyone should do. And yeah, so, but there are like a host of opportunities available, and especially I'm very excited about this 1 or 1.5 years fellowship opportunities or master's courses. Just the right amount of time to devote to learn about the sector.
Yeah.
I think excellent.
Yeah. Even there are even smaller exposures like Anubhav Shiksha series, lecture series, which happens for like 2 months only every week. And it is also in partnership with Indian School of Public Policy. And there are other small courses also which anyone can explore, or get in touch with people like us, like follow Village Square, reach out to us, follow ISDM, reach out to someone in the circle, and understand that what all opportunities are available. You can share, you can also follow certain relevant pages which keep sharing these kind of information. For example, right now we have like Village Square is one, but there is NGO Box, there are other platforms which keep posting about these kind of things. So you keep updated yourself with this kind of information from these kind of portals as well. And also follow relevant people on LinkedIn. So you might you can explore, like you can search for people on LinkedIn who are very active and talking about social sector, and writing on daily basis about their own work and their own reflections. I can't name them now because they might not be relevant, but you can do your own research and find out who are the relevant people and who you like following. So these are the things which you can do as a next step after this webinar to start like researching about what what may excite you in development sector, and from where you want to initiate your career, or maybe volunteering journey. That's completely up to you. So uh, before closing this webinar, I just want to hear from both of you any last comments and any last thoughts after talking about for about an hour. How are you feeling, and how you are thinking that what might be one or two takeaways from this session for younger people who are joining us today?
I can say something. I think a lot of questions that we got here, I could relate so much to them, because I was also this person who was unaware. I was also I even asked people, should I take medicines? Because I was not sure if there will be right chemist shops, pharmacies available in these regions. So and it might sound very stupid, but these are very important questions. And when you are not sure if you should study, I believe correspondence courses is also a great way to go. Like fellowships, I talked about correspondence courses. You will understand if you like. There is this NIRD is coming up with a lot of courses. TIS has some correspondence courses now, and a lot of different schools. So maybe you can take a chance there. But I believe if you want to work here, it is very important that you listen to your heart. And it might sound very poetic or something, and I'm not trying to be one. I'm not, but I just believe that there has to be something that drives you to work here. Then only you will keep on figuring out ways. You will make money for sure. You will study at the best schools. You will do whatever it takes, but you will keep making your ways. And there are a lot of development professionals available all over the social media, so you can always connect and follow Village Square and other pages also that are helping people get the right resources. So that's what I would say. Thank you, Sanjana.
Thank you, Subhalakshmi.
No, actually, I think I had a very good interactive session. Just learning, just also getting to know how professionals of today think, right? What are the questions that they are having in mind today? Like Annushree said, even I was at that point where I had these questions. Luckily, today we have more options than we had 7 or 8 years back to know about these courses, to have these kind of interactions. Then social media is at a much, it's at a much bigger scale. It operates at a much bigger scale right now. With a simple Google search, you can find out many things. And also, like they have said, LinkedIn is a really good platform to connect with relevant people, set up calls with them, understand about their experiences, just connect. And then you can also select some institutions, right? And if you want to say, for example, pursue course in one particular institutions, you might want to connect with their alumni as well, to see how their trajectory has been, how is it going, what are the different nuances. So I think these are some of the options available for us. So I really enjoyed being here and talking with all of you. And thanks to all the panelists as well.
Thank you, Subhalakshmi. While ending, there was a very important question. I felt that it is really important, which Navdeep asked. Do you want to speak yourself, Navdeep, about this question? Can you explain it more? Can we unmute him, Soumya? We can take his question as the last question, and then we can close it for today. Navdeep? Okay, then let me read. He said that you have worked in different part of India with different development areas. You may worked worse. You got experience, handsome packages, but some extent situation in these areas remains the same, or you see the changes in life of people you worked with. I think that it was important. It was a very straightforward question and need to be answered. So that's why I thought that we'll take this question and then we'll close. Anything you would like to say?
Yeah, I think I have worked in a lot of different regions, and that's what I was saying, that single-handedly it won't happen that you'll change the whole community, and you should never try to do that, because we come, and I learned this very early in my journey in the development profession, that we come with a mindset that the community need to learn from us. They don't need to learn from us. They know it all. We need to learn from them. And there might be some practices which we do not think are right, but they can be modeled, but we are not there to change it. Nobody can change it, right? And we learn it a lot in the sustainability and aspect as well. When you read the books, you'll understand. So I believe there are going to be issues, and you won't be able to change it, and that might also affect you terribly. Like you will feel very frustrated that, I have been trying so hard on this one issue, but nothing is moving. But even if you are able to make a slightest of difference, please appreciate yourself. Enjoy that victory. People around you might not appreciate you that much, but you will have to be like yourself motivator, and you'll have to make peace with it, that initially you are there just to learn. And I have, that has always worked for me. I have always felt that I'm here to learn, and I'm here to I'm here to contribute to whatever my experiences have been. I'm not here to change anything. So that's what I believe. Yeah. So we can add.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel that even if we don't make things better, we should not make it worse. So this should be something which we can be cognizant enough that we are not hampering anything which is existing there. While it might take a lot of time, a long time to what we say, that disruptive change takes time. It will not happen in a day. So I think we all are on same page that we are not destroying anything while things are changing at their own pace. And with that, I would really want to keep talking to both of you and hearing both of your journey and a lot of anecdotes from your journey itself, because I'm myself very inspired by both of you. But time aa chuka hai and we have to close it today. And with that, I want to highlight that these kind of conversations will keep coming to you. So keep following both of the organizations, Village Square and ISDM. Every month, we will be bringing some interesting speakers on specific themes also. Right now, we have started with Subhalakshmi and Annushree. We are grateful to have both of them in our first webinar altogether. But in coming webinars, we will be having thematic experts talking about specific themes, or there will be much younger people who are from different fellowships who can give you an overview of what fellowships look like. So we will create these kind of conversations, meaningful and very helpful and insightful for every one of you to understand what sector can offer and what all you can do. And sometime we can also do a session on different courses which are available in the sector, including one done by the ISDM itself. They are pioneering in it, and they are celebrating Development Management Day also. So what is development management? We can bring insight about that too. So keep in touch with us, keep messaging us. You can directly message to both of the Instagram pages, that what kind of conversation you really want to get from these kind of webinars. So we'll be very happy to do as much effort to pull in resources for Development Unplugged, and we need your support to make it a success. So spread the word across, talk to your friends about it, and share your feedback with both of us. We will be very helpful to, we'll be grateful to hear from every one of you that what you felt after this conversation. Thank you so much. Thank you, Subhalakshmi. Thank you, Anu, for joining us today. And thank you, Soumya, for helping us in organizing it beautifully. Thank you.
Everyone, really enjoyed the session.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Sanjana, for being a great facilitator. And thank you for conducting this. Really enjoyed.
So we can